What's poppin'? So I just wanted to quickly show you how to fix the disappearing armor that you might have if you're trying to use custom armor when you're doing the Seamless Co-op mod in Elden Ring. It's pretty simple. What you're going to need is a program called FLVER editor, flavor editor. This is what I could say, it's just missing the A. Um, it's very simple. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to get your modded armor. You're going to open up the parts folder. It'll look something like this. Just ignore that folder for now. Um, then you basically take the file and drop it on the exe. This could take a little while to open, depending on how big the file is. This will pop up first. Okay, cool. As you can see, this has now popped up. This is very cool. I think this is incredible software. This will basically allow you to view the model and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. This is the Slayer armor. Um, but that's not really what we're interested in right now. What you're going to do to fix the armor is three simple steps. First, you're going to click this button, which selects all the parts. This should highlight. Then you click this, which will solve all the bounding box errors. And then you click this, which will solve all the mesh LODs. Then you click File and Save. What you'll notice then is it'll create a backup folder. That's what this folder I've made is for. I just drag these in there if you need to, revert back to them or something. But then you're just going to take this file and you're going to paste it in the parts folder of your mod in Elden Ring. And yeah, that should about fix it for you. That will actually about wrap up the solve for this problem, but I wanted to get into just a little bit more detail for all the technical nerds out there like me. Basically, what you're doing here is the first box fixes the bounding box issue. What is a bounding box? A bounding box is basically a way of rendering armor. It's a way of calculating what part of the armor is facing the camera. Many games use this so that they can cull the other half of the armor so that it doesn't need to render in. This will help save on some performance and make the game run a bit smoother. If you have a buggy bounding box armor, you'll notice that armor disappears from certain angles which you view it at. However, this doesn't really seem to be the issue with the disappearing armor, as it's still visible from every angle. It just disappears when it goes too far away from the camera. Now, obviously this is all speculation, but I think this second button over here, the LOD fix, is what's actually going wrong here, and that's the button that fixes everything. So another thing that games do in order to save on performance is they downscale textures. So if you see something that's very far away from the camera, you'll notice it looks very low quality. You see this very clearly in some old games. A lot of games like that are very old will use mist and stuff to hide the fact that they're using much lower quality models. Sometimes you'll notice when you load into the game for the first time, the textures of the ground and everything seem very low quality and buggy. And I think that's the issue that's happening over here, especially in multiplayer. So when you're playing with your friends and your friend moves too far away from the camera, what should happen is the game recognizes, okay, this player is now far away from the camera. We should downscale the textures so that we don't use up too much performance. Now, this is usually a very good solution because you're not going to notice it because it's smaller. You're not going to notice the change in detail. The game runs better, it performs better. That's all good. So this is very technical and I don't fully understand it, but it seems that the level of details, like the textures that change, are baked into the model, which is a bit of a problem because some of them are missing these extra textures. So instead of just downscaling the textures when your friend moves too far away from the camera, when your friend moves too far away, it tries to downscale, and instead of being like, oh, here's the things, it's like they're missing, or I can't downscale these, which means they just disappear. It's just a thing in Elden Ring. If the data is missing for the armor, it disappears, it goes invisible, there's no defaults, it just goes invisible. So, what happens when we click this button is it automatically generates all the textures for us, or the LODs. LOD stands for level of detail. So then when you move too far away, the game is able to actually find the textures and not just turn the model invisible. So yeah, that's very neat. So one of the other things that I should mention is that Elden Ring uses two different types of files, texture files, when it's rendering armor. The first one looks like this, and then the second one is specifically armor that's already lower res, so that NPCs or other player characters can use it. And it will look something like this. It'll be the normal file, except it'll have an underscore L at the end to indicate that it is low, like a low resolution. So you should still use the Elden Ring Armor Fixer, um, because that'll make copies and add underscore L to the end of all of them. This is what your friends will use when you have custom armor. This is what they'll see when your friends are wearing custom armor. This is what you'll see when you use custom armor. This is what you'll see. Now, for some reason, and this has worked perfectly with every single armor that I've tested it with. I haven't gone through all of them, but most of them work, except the Slayer armor. And you can even see it here slightly. For some reason, the texture inside the cape disappears. Now, I'm not too sure why that's happening. It might just be an issue with this particular skin. Um, but yeah, the rest of it works. Nothing disappears, but the inside of the cape goes invisible for some reason. I'm not sure why. If you encounter this problem with this skin or another skin, what you can do is use this as the default unedited, unfixed values or file, as it were, and use this one as the fixed one. Because then when you're playing with the Slayer skin, you won't have this issue where the middle of the cape is gone. But if one of your friends is using the Slayer armor, at least it won't disappear with this one. But like I said, it's worked with every other armor that I've tested with. But anyway, that should wrap it up for this video. Please let me know in the comments if this worked for you. And yeah, thanks for watching.